What's going on, Collector Squad? Welcome to my first statue review on the channel. I'm Drew, for those of you that don't know, and I know you've probably seen me do other stuff, but yes, I collect statues too. And this is the one that started it all for me, the Godzilla from Sideshow. Let's get into the review. All right, guys, so let's jump into it. We're going to start at the base, and we're going to slowly move up and go through all the details. But starting off, we've got the very simplistic base. Looks like the cover of a Godzilla Blu-ray or something like that. It's very simple, but I will say I love the font. I love how big it is, and you can clearly see it even from far away when you're looking at this statue in its display. And even though it's simplistic, what's really cool are Godzilla's feet coming down, putting his footprints into the ground and crushing the ground around him. That's a really cool part of the base I like a lot. But now we're going to move on to, I guess we'll move on to his feet from here. Not your typical Godzilla feet you see in other Godzillas. Godzilla feet typically are a little bigger, have bigger toes, but I love how his feet are a little bit smaller, but he's got a lot more muscle going around his feet and his leg going up the statue. But we'll talk about the thighs real quick because that's what everyone talks about with the new Godzilla. I love reading the comments online when seeing Godzilla designs, especially from 2014 on. They always say, Godzilla's thick! It cracks me up every time I see it. I don't mind it because he's such a powerful monster. I mean, I think it's different. We've seen more athletic Godzillas in the past, but I kind of like this one. He just seems and feels more powerful to me in these movies, and that's why this Godzilla is always going to be my favorite. So I guess moving from the legs, we'll come over here to the tail. I love this pose, how it twists around to the front. It's so cool. It's just like he's kind of turning around, probably when the Muto is coming out of the woodworks or flying in on him and he's sizing him up for battle. It's just really cool. Or like he's about to whip his tail around and use it for an attack. Just the 2019 movie did some cool stuff, but man, in the 2014 movie, when he whipped that tail around and crushed the male Muto in the side of the building, that was something, my jaw dropped to the floor. I just thought that was so cool. We've got amazing detail going all the way up the tail, up to his back. Just the spines are slowly getting bigger and bigger coming out. And I guess we can talk about the spines real quick. A lot of people had problems with these spines in the 2014 movie because they weren't your typical spines that we've always seen with Godzilla with the maple leaf look, way bigger. But honestly, guys, this seems more reptilian to me. It's a great look. I love it on the statue. I kind of wish they kept it because it was something different than your typical Godzilla. But the maple leaf in these newer movies, it looks great too. So it's not really something that bothers me a whole lot. But looking from his legs, you see the small spines and the small scales coming and poking out right here. And then we'll move up to the sides of his body as these spines and scales and all of this become more pronounced. It looks so cool, man. This statue, it beats out the maquette for Sideshow for me. It's just unbelievable how well they nailed Godzilla's likeness, especially in the face, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll look at his arms real quick. I wish his arms might have been like a little thicker or longer in the design of the original Godzilla, but as far as the statue goes, the statue absolutely nails it. I mean, the detail on the arms is pretty crazy, all the way to these nails coming out, or excuse me, not nails, claws. It looks absolutely perfect. And I love how, like, going back here, I believe these are gills right here behind his elbow, just like right here under his neck. A lot of people don't know Godzilla can breathe underwater. It's really amazing how just these little details remind you of that. Sometimes people forget that, but I love these under his neck, man. They just look absolutely perfect. But I guess now we can get into the last part, which is his face sculpt. And this is why this statue for me wins over the maquette. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. From his teeth to the tongue coming out, it's just like in a typical Godzilla roar. You always see that tongue moving around in there. Um, and his eyes, man. His eyes just look... He looks angry. He looks like someone's come into his territory and he's just sizing him up, ready to go to town. But this is why right here, this is why it's so much better than the maquette, because the maquette, first off, that pose where his head is practically turned around 180 degrees, not a huge fan of that one. And his snout is just so much longer. It looks almost crocodilian to me, and I'm not really a fan of it. And also the color of the maquette, it's a little more of like this weird, faded, ugly green color. Godzilla isn't really that color as much. He's a little more of a darker green to almost black in this newer version that they've come out with at Legendary. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the close-ups of the statue throughout this video. Let me know how I did with my first statue review on the channel. I know Austin's typically the expert in these, but I'm going to do some as well. I'm actually going to be doing another statue review very soon. But hope you enjoyed the first From the Vault series, reviewing one of our older statues. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, check us out. We have a ton of content already up on the channel for only being on YouTube for 2 months. Ring the bell if you like what you see, and please make sure you leave a comment down below. We love to interact with you guys. And I guess lastly, there's only one thing left to say. Collect what you like, not what's popular. See y'all soon.